Bless all the paths our feet walk to be free. Bless all the paths our feet walk to be free.
Move forward. Can you pass it on? Can you attest your love from nightfall till dawn? Can you share the blessings that have been shared with you? Show the love from inside in all that you do? Are you willing to listen, to learn, and to lead? Can you get on your soapbox, ready to decree? The magic you know when you shine the spirit within. Can you pass on your smiles? Can you pass on that grin? Can you see an unknown friend on their sodden rainy day, then offer an umbrella of tenderness, so to say? Can you look within your own nature and take a moment to see the opportunity to liberate and sanction love to set you free? The magi and the mystics from those ages of old, can you pass on the wisdom and leave the dogma to the mold? Will you pass on your own truth, the feelings inside, the ones that sometimes get tangled up in pride? Can you receive the love someone passes on to you as a gift and a treasure? Nothing owed, nothing due. Can you pass on your love unconditionally, your breath never to utter, what's in it for me? Can you be that spark that ignites the fire? Sing with the chorus and take your sound higher. Climb that mountain so the whole world can know you're paying it forward so the fire can glow. I'm passing it on, first to me, then you. It's the only real answer, the only way through. If you want a reason to stand up and be proud, then be bold and be brave to shout it out loud. Then sometimes we pass it on, soft and serene. A whisper, a wink, a private nod in between. There's no real big secret to keeping our lights on. Just live love and give love, and oh yeah, pass it on. Thank you, everyone. Negotiate stuff. Probably gonna want that closer to me in a minute anyway. So we're gonna sing this song later, and it's a song that a lot of us have sang in camp. A lot of us have sang when we were kids. I sang it when I was a kid. Actually, my brother sang it first because he was 2 years ahead of me in in school. And so I got to hear him practicing for their Easter concert. And as a little kid, I fell in love with the song because I was already really spiritual little kid. Jesus was my hero. I loved everybody, probably to a fault. And passing it on was the only real thing to do. That's something that I knew already. I didn't have to learn it. None of us really had to learn it. We actually unlearned it. And we've come back to places like this so that we can relearn things. And I don't know why I put this all the way away from me, because I want to review. But there's many ways of passing things on. It's like we talk about loving, and that's something that's real genuinely easy to pass on when you're in that loving space. All we have to do is say, I love you, and we're passing that on. But what about the subtle ways of passing things on? You know, we all have so many different things going on in our lives that sometimes it's easy to get stuck in the mire and pass that on instead. A lot of times we pass on grief, we pass on our frustration, we pass on our neuroses, our OCDs. And that's all good that we can and giggle and laugh, because we know that we've passed something like that on. When we walk away, it's something that we kind of feel like, that's not what I wanted to pass on. There's something inside of us that knows that, and all we have to do is be able to tap back into that wonder of love, that wonder of that God love, that wonder of that agape love. There's all different forms of love in this world. When we talk about agape love, we're talking about that love that transcends anything in the physicality. It's something that lets us know all the different things we've been talking about recently with Ubuntu and Matakuyasin, and what that really means about we are all related. And that's what that agape love really is talking about and stands for. We want to pass that on as much as we can. But first we have to wake up in the morning with ourselves. And I'm always going to go here. Every single conversation that you ever have with me will be about the divinity within yourself. And to pass that on, I first have to be able to pass it on amongst me. I've got to be able to love all the people within me and pass that love back and forth within them, so that there's a full circle of love, and that community within me is always passing on the love, the wisdom, the advice, the nurturing, the compassion, just like I would want to do for you. When I said in this line, which I'll find in a second, anyway, it's somewhere in here where it says, first me, then you. And I never have my brain while I'm doing a talk, so it's hard to refer back to here sometimes. But it's about taking that love within me, and we've said this over and over, and everybody knows this lesson within themselves too. That, and I've said this quote before too, by Mark Twain, the very first love and last love should be self-love. And I don't really like shitting on people, but if I'm going to shit on you, I'll shit on you with that one. That for me to be able to love you, I have to be able to love here first. And for me to be able to pass this on to you and to pay it forward, I have to start with a reservoir that's full. If I pass on from an empty pool, what is there for me to put my cup into and dip into? So I have to always be filled with love and compassion and nurturing for my own self and my own selves. For all the different things that I have done in this lifetime that I may have judged as wrong, inadequate, not enough, to just simply have compassion. When I say, can you see an unknown friend on their sodden rainy day and offer an umbrella of tenderness, so to say, can you do that with yourself? Can you look at your own life and look at a sodden rainy day in your world and let it go without beating yourself up and just offer yourself love and nurturing and compassion? Because if in that moment I didn't offer myself loving, what was I going to pass on to you next? What would you rather have for me, my loving or my neuroses? Sometimes my neuroses can offer comedy to you, and sometimes your OCDs may offer comedy to me. But the ones that hurt us, the ones that keep you limited, I was going to say limitated, the ones that keep us limited, is that what we want to pass on? What we're wanting to pass on is our joy, is our love, is our wisdom. And I'm going to go right to the very last line, that sometimes we pass it on soft and serene, a whisper, a wink, a private nod in between. Do you know how much of the world has really done it that way? And I've used this example a few times where it's like, and I liken it to being in a city street, because there's not a lot of pedestrian traffic in our lives and in our community, as there would be in Chicago, Manhattan, LA, where you have a lot of city streets and people walking all the time, seeing each other. And I've always done this. There's a basic love, fear, love thing going on. Where fear, love, fear is really what happens. Walking down the street, looking down, they look up for a brief second to connect with a human being. That's the love coming back. That's that will and wanting for our essence to always pass it on. And then they look right back down again because fear jumps back on and says, well, don't look too long. Don't pass all of the love on, God forbid that. But innately, and our essence wants to pass it on. We constantly want to connect with human beings. But sometimes it's soft, and we're just going, guys do it that way. This way they can be cool when they're passing their love on. Give a nod, you know, maybe a little tilt too. And for all that machismo, what they're really saying is, I got a big heart, man. I just am afraid to show it to you because I really don't know the answer to that one. What will happen if men show their hearts? Be a lot more commonplace. And more men are. More and more men are passing it on. And more women are letting men pass it on. So we've kept each other in roles that have denied us from showing us each other our vulnerability and passing on the wonder of who we are. If I'm afraid you're going to think I'm a pansy if I show you my love, you think I'm going to want to pass it to you? If it's going to be something that emasculates me as a man, I'm not going to want to pass that to you. So many men have not. And now we're showing them a different way. We're showing them that there's a way through all of this. Can you put me a little hotter in the mic? That you can take that love, you can take all the different wonders, take all the different things that you have and pass it on. You know when I see someone really, and generally in men, really get passionate is when they're training you or teaching you something that they know how to do that they love. Like say woodwork or auto mechanics or whatever it is. Something that they know how to do really well and you're interested in it too, you'll see them come alive. It's love. They're passing it on. And they're so excited to pass it on. But it can also be something as far, it doesn't have to be woodworking. It could be, what if you're a mathematician and I was struggling with math and you love math and you can see somewhere in me there's a passion for math. But say there was a glitch in the way and you saw that glitch and you came alive in your passion and you said, hey Mark, let me show you a different way to look at this. And then all those other lessons I or maybe those other students got from those teachers that didn't have passion, they just had facts. And so those facts stopped here. With me they did, with a lot of students they did, because there was no passion behind them. But you brought passion to the game. And now you just took science and mental things and mathematics and made somebody excited about it. You think that's not passing it on? Now you may have just born a rocket scientist that's going to bring things to this planet that we needed, and it was because you were willing to bring your passion to that person all the way down here. Because this is the people we need to pass it on to the most. Lord knows we're passing them on. A planet with a bunch of problems. So we as adults now that are taking positive steps to pass on green energy to each other, to pass on responsibility, integrity with how we take care of our own earth, can pass that wisdom on to the children too by taking action to help clean it up. See, with this pass it on, nothing is out of the subject. Every single thing that you want to pass on can be passed on. It's about focusing on what you would like to pass on. My mission in life is to pass love on, is to pass on a message that you are divine and that your divinity is within you, and that any self in there that would have you think differently has to simply be addressed, looked at, talked to, nurtured, worked with, listened to, so that they can feel divine as well. That is my mission in this world. That is why I'm walking this planet right now, and I know that. That is what I would like to pass on. When I said, if my goal in life is to pass on love, and at the end of the day I look and do an inventory of how much love I've passed on, and I had a grumpy day or I had a yucky day inside and I didn't pass, well, if that's my goal, that's my one thing, and I'm failing at my own goal, it's not about failing, nobody's grading me, it's about my wanting. So if at the end of the day I've wanted to pass love and I passed grief on instead, I have to go back inside and go, well, who inside did I not pass the love to? Who inside instead passed on their grief instead of passing on their love? Because there's a whole boatload of people in here that are happy as pie about life. There's only a couple that are sad. There's only a couple that are tripping around, like most of us. Unless you're dealing with heavy, heavy trauma, and that's where you seek help, workshops, therapists, whatever it is, for that help that you need to heal those cells that have been traumatized. But just the average community within, and we're all different, we all have our different nuances, we all have our different perspectives, we all have our different flavors, our different moods, our different attitudes, but we are all the same at the same time. We're one mind, one heart, one being of people that came to this planet to learn to love and to pass the love on. So when I keep going inside and looking in these cells, do I do an inventory in the morning and go, who is up for the game? Who's up for the goal? The goal is to pass love on. And if I have 10 people that raise their hand and say yes, and one person that says no, I have to talk to the person that says no, because he's coming with us. There's been never anyone I could leave, well, you know what, you're staying home today. It's never worked. Just like trying to run from them has never worked either. Moving around in life, a lot of people have moved their residencies because they were trying to get away from certain parts of their life that were hurting them. And we know that you can never run away of something. Can you make me a little hotter in the mic so I'm not going to get. So can you pay it forward? Can you pass it on? Can you attest your love from nightfall to dawn? Can you live this? Can you really live this? It's getting softer right now. Hello. Technical difficulties. Can you wake up in the morning and have this feeling within yourself? Sometimes we have to do something to alter ourselves, to alter our own feeling. It's like, for me, a great, and I've shared this with you before, that a great thing that helps me in my current life, praying has always helped me. Nothing out of the monitors? No, we're getting something? Huh? I'm flowing. So when you get up in the morning and you do an inventory, and that one person says, no, I'm not ready to share love, and that's your goal from a passionate place. Nobody put that goal on you. Nobody said, hey, you got to share love today or you're fired. There's no ruling like that. We're the ones who fire ourselves, because when we want to share love,
grab a different mic.
What?
Grab a different mic.
Okay, so I'm going to grab Julie's mic. I set up nice and tight for her to tangle it. Oh no, Mark on a short leash. Move over. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Can you feel me? Got all kinds of things going on. So, getting back to myself for a second here. When we're waking up in the morning and we have that one person that doesn't want to go, that's the person that we need to work with the most. That's the one we need to take into the mirror and put some love on them, put some nurturing on them, put some compassion on them, ask them what's up. It could just be hungry. Sometimes, you know, I've been living alone for a while, and Jasper has too, my cat. And it's been a serious adjustment for him, because first his brother passed away, and then his mom left, and then his sister left, and now it's just me and Dad. Him and Dad, well, me and him. And I'm gone a lot. So sometimes when I come home, his meows are kind of whiny. And they're a little bit different than a regular meow, and I'll know it because it gets on me. And I try to go love him, and I try to go love him, and I do it most of the time, but then there's that time when I'm hungry and haven't eaten all day. And I'm sitting there trying to chop up food, or now lately I've been juicing a lot, so I'm like, just let me get something in me, Jasper, because you're grating on me right now. That's the guy or girl I'm talking about. That person needs to be taken care of, because I want to pass love on to my cat. I love him. And he's just saying, Daddy, 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 I'm lonely, I miss you, love me. That's all he's saying in the whine. I know it. But when we're hungry, angry, lonely, tired, halt. H-A-L-T. Stop. Take care of yourself. Because our essence wants to pass love on. And I know that's the most easy example here. But that cat's really a 3-year-old. Because that's all they are little toddlers, and all they want is Daddy to come love them. Well, I needed to get mine, and I'm like, hold on, here's a quick pet, because I'm not feeling it, so I'm like, here's a quick one. Let me get stuff in my body so that I can be present for this cat that I do love, and he'll stop the whining once I'm present with him, and he feels my love. Well, man, they don't have the intellect in the way that we do. But just because our intellect gets in the way, don't think that our essence doesn't feel just like animals and children. That's why we get our feelings hurt. It's not the adults that get their feelings hurt, it's the kids, and we have to acknowledge that and to just nurture them and pass that love back on to them. But if you take care of yourself, firstly, then you'll be all right when somebody else is even whining at you that they need love. Sometimes there's a dynamic in this life when needy people, and there are needy people in this world, God bless them, that means they're needing. And it's a vicious circle to be stuck between needy and needing. And I've been in it, we've all been in it at some time or another in our lives, but some people get stuck there. And there's a dynamic that gets created that it pulls out of us anger. It gets flustering when someone's pulling on you that way. We have to be able to breathe into this moment, because we have a choice to recognize energetically what's being tapped into, and to breathe in and tap into our loving so we can pass that on. We do have a choice. We're human beings that react to stimuli. We have a whole brain here that reacts to all kinds of scenarios and synapses in our lives. That is just one that we're reacting to. But because of what a wonderful being we are, we have a choice to do this. And breathe. And then look at them in the eye. Realize that they are needing in that moment, and share with them your love. If you did react in a moment, here's a quick way to fix that. I'm sorry. It's that quick. It's that simple. It's that easy. It's like Beck and I were talking about something right before service, and I remembered the line, don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff. Sometimes we get stuck in it. One personality does, because say there's this one personality in me, and there's a couple of them that like straight lines, and everything's got to be in order, and when things are in order, I am so happy. And then I can pass on my love and joy all day long. Oh no. So I have to talk to this guy right now, because he's like, rah, he'll pay more attention to the stand than to the people. One thing I told Rose a long time ago is that people come first. People come before TVs, people come before video games, people come before our neuroses. I haven't told her that one yet, because I don't want her to get neuroses, but I'm sure she will, because she's a human. When we have the neuroses, we have to be real aware of what we're passing on in a moment and just breathe into it. It's not another reason to flog ourselves, because we flog ourselves so much in this lifetime. It's like, if I passed on a little grief, if I passed on some of my poison accidentally, a homotakoyasin. You gotta let me know, lovingly, hey man, you stepped on my toes, or ouch, that hurt, or hey, when you said that, that really bothered me. Whatever your words are, just say the truth in it. It always starts with an I feeling. And then that person has an opportunity to say, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do that. This is what's going on in me. Or it gives them the opportunity to turn and look back around and go, my goal is to pass love, and I just went up to someone that I do love and apparently passed poison or pain, and they pointed it out to me. I need to go check in the mirror, or the mirror, and see what's going on. Because again, my goal and my one thing was to pass on love. So what just happened inside, Mark? Or Bob, or Joe, or Sally, or Sue? It's like what just happened inside, that instead you passed on grief, poison, pain, crappy attitude, sarcasm. Ooh, yeah. That is our quickest one. Sarcasm and condescension. These two words, man, I have been more offended with people's sarcasm and condescension at me than I would have been if they just said the F word to me. Because at least I knew exactly how they felt. Not that I want people to do that. I'd rather have I love you said to me. But if that's how they felt in the moment, then maybe I needed to hear that, because maybe I stepped on their toes so bad that I needed to go look in and realize I've been passing on grief for a while. Sometimes people get stuck into where all they're passing on is poison. Again, there's no reasons to flog, but if the goal is to pass on love, this is where I was saying, the opportunity to liberate and sanction love to set you free. You're asking love to set you free from your own stuff so that you can pass it on. Love. And it goes back around. We used to sing a song here that says, give and it will come back to you, full measure, pressed down, shaken together, blah, blah, blah. It's in the Bible. Jesus talked about that. He's talked about stuffing it so that there's just so much love, and the more you put in, the more that comes back to you. So the more I pass on my love to you, the more it's going to be passed on to me. And folks, I'm going to say something, because there's an innate part of us that's afraid to do that, because we're afraid we're going to run out. We're afraid that if I give all my love away, I am going to be left here high and dry and alone and scared and loveless. And it's actually the exact opposite. When I hold on to my love and tighten it in my fist so that I can never lose it, open my hand again, it's gone. But when I give it and give it and give it and give it and just pass it on, I keep getting filled up. It's never, I look in and I'm like, it's full. It got full. And I could have been not heard one, I love you, from one other human being. So when I love you and I pass my love to you on, Spirit obliges, fills me up. The biggest benefit for me in my grief for the past year has been the prayers of the people. Saying these prayers in the morning is passing on their love in their prayers, got passed on to me in a good way, and they're asking me to pass it on to spirit, even though we're all spirit. And as I do that, that flows through me, and what I pass on is that love back and forth. And I get it in the morning or in the afternoon, whenever I do my prayers. Sometimes twice if I'm feeling yucky. I already got that lesson. Now I know it. Now I know when I'm feeling yucky to just go say the prayers of the people, because I'm connected to everybody. And these are just our community, but these are people. So when I start looking at these prayers, I start realizing that these are all the people. All of us want these things. We all want peace and prosperity and abundance and love, and to be fruitful in our endeavors, and to be free of fears of success, and to have more. So as I have all these things, if I can pass this on to you with the greatest of joy in my heart, when you get that, you're feeling all the wonder from it. Even if it's the littlest of things. Say I made this pen for Becky, and she loved black and white pens, and I passed this on to her. See? The joy of such a simple gift. And I know how I am in my heart, simple-hearted. My mind is a little bit more complex. But the simplest of things tickle me and touch me. It's like sometimes we think we have to do something ostentatious, pass something on that big to make a point, to let them show, to let them know that we really love them, to show them how much we love them. And I've had those kind of things in my life as well, and I'm sure all of us have, but it's been the most subtle ones that have done it the most. Annalena coming up and wanting to weasel in there to get me a hug today, it filled me right up. It's like little kids are real innocent with it, real open with it. I mean, they're very sharing. They have no problem passing it on at all. Unless it's their cookie, but that's a little different. And that's really after 4, because before that, they'll give you slobber and all. They'll share it all. They'll pass it all on. We can take the lessons from children on how to pass on love. We can take the lessons from certain animals, and you see certain animals working together, and we did that talk a little bit last week too. Are you willing to listen, to learn, and to lead? Can you get on your soapbox ready to decree? Can you stand on your soapbox and talk about your passions and pass it on? So many times in life I've gotten on a rant. Unfortunately, the rant wasn't the message. I'm like, you ever notice that? How your message and your rant are like, if I'm getting closer and closer because I'm starting to rant my message back to that making a noise in this world and living out loud and letting ourselves be bold and be brave and do whatever we want to get our messages out there. If your message is like about music, which they have a positive message in their music, then scream your message. But what if they were heavy metal and just wanted to go, I can't do it. Pass it on. Because there are so many people that love that kind of music. Who am I to say no to what you like? As long as you're not hurting people. It's like, there's no judgment. It's a free will universe, man. We're all coming down here to experience an aspect of life from my perspective and from your perspective and all the yous that have been out here. So the things that get passed on, sometimes you'll actually say, I'll pass. And that's okay. You're allowed to. But get out of the way so it can be passed on to somebody else. We have too many people in this world saying, oh no, you may not pass that on. You too over there, no passing that kind of love between each other on. You, I don't like the color that you're wearing. We won't pass that on. I don't like the shirt you wear. I don't like the way you breathe, the way you talk, the way you think. We'll stop passing any of that on. Who am I to tell you how to love? Who am I to tell you what colors to paint with? Who am I to tell you how to write a poem or a song or a story? Pass on what you want to pass on. And if you don't want it passed on to you, get out of the way. Let it go by. Let somebody else have it. Let it land on them. There's going to be some grunge head somewhere who's going to go, oh, I love that music. Arr, arr, arr. I can't even do it. My ex-brother-in-law will be making fun of me because he sings that kind of music, and I can't even do it. When I wake up in the morning, I can do it.
Right.
But it's about who's to say what. We know what loving is. We know that whether we like something or not doesn't mean it's bad or evil. It's like there's a lot of singers that I really don't care for, but you like country music? I'll pass that to somebody else. It's like there's been musicians that have been gifted to me, CDs, and well, I just used that example. Just you give it to somebody else. I did a talk about potlatch ceremony, the Native Americans, and the giveaway ceremony, how people misunderstood the Indian giving. And that if what was passed on to you and given to you was not being used and respected, that giver had the right to come and take it back and say no. But it wasn't, here's where the lesson got misunderstood. They thought they were taking it back and keeping it. It's like, no, they don't even have a word for mine. They're taking it to pass it on to someone else who's going to use it. So if I made you this wonderful table, and you just don't like the woodworking I did, or that color of wood, or that kind of table, you like Formica, it's okay. I can get insulted if I want, but the moment I let go of a gift, it's gone, and I have to let it go. So when I pass something on, be it my loving or a table, I have to let it go. It was a gift. Otherwise, what I'm doing is I'm giving with conditions. And that's what this line somewhere in there, we're saying about unconditionally. It's, can you completely pass on your love unconditionally, your breath never to utter, what's in it for me? Man, I would like to say that I've been perfect at that one throughout my life. I'm getting a lot better as this guy, but as the younger guy, no, it was, I had a tit for tat thing going on with spirit, more with God than anything, but God, I was a good boy. So don't I get whatever, fill in the blank, whatever it was that I thought I wanted in the moment. It's like the unconditionally part, and to never utter that word of what's in it for me, and to just know, like you and I were talking about the other day, that the universe has it all handled, that the universe knows what you want, that the universe will oblige, that Spirit, God, all that is, knows what you want, and we just have to get out of the way. Now, out of the way means if I keep saying what I want, I don't even have to keep putting it out there. God knows what you want. What God doesn't know is what you're willing to do, because that's not going to be known until you do it. It's getting ourselves out of the way. So if I want to tell you I want to pass on love, and then I do this, and I'm the one who's consciously doing it, then it's up to me. That the universe will meet me halfway. Again, God got us all that is. We've heard these expressions growing up. Let go, let God. God helps those who help themselves. God will meet you halfway. Create your own reality. Visualize it. Believe it. Then you'll see it. These are all part of the same thing. But I have to be willing to get out of the way. Just like if you wanted to pass a gift to me. If you wanted to hand me a sandwich and I blocked you, and I'm hungry, I want to eat. Oh man, I'm hungry. Mark, I have a sandwich for you. It's your favorite kind. Cool. Here. Hey, here, Mark. That's what we do with spirit. That's what we do every time someone tries to, well, maybe not every time someone tries to love us, but a lot of the times that people are trying to pass their loving on. If we have something inside of us that feels like we're not deserving the love, we'll just let it pass right on by. It's like, hey, that's not grunge music. That's love, man. You wanted that. Why are you passing on something that somebody passed on to you that you want? Sometimes we have to check in and go, who didn't want that? Who passed on that? And look inside, and you'll find one person sitting down with a sign that says, I don't deserve love. And then you go and you hug them, and you have a community meeting, and you get all the people around them and let them know they're nurtured and hugged and wanted. So that the next time someone goes, hey, I have some love to pass on to you, you take it, you receive it, you let it in. I think the word take used to confuse me in my life, because sometimes people say, here, take it. And I always thought of taking as, oh, I took it, I took their love. And I had to relearn that language in my head, because take took made me feel like I stole it. So then I had to learn the word receiving to replace it with, but getting back to the English and just, not playing mental games with yourself. When someone is saying, here, take it, They're giving it to you. It's not stealing. So I had to learn that. I had to teach that to myself, because probably the biggest thing I've had a hard time with in my life has been receiving love. Letting it in, taking it. Because I'm taking their money. I've almost felt guilty before getting paid paychecks. I'm like, what? Because I felt like I was taking their money. Well, that wasn't really me. That was the employers. And their negative rhetoric of, oh, you guys are taking everything we're making. Well, what do you mean? Without us, you wouldn't be making it. We had to relearn some of the programming that's happened in our own lives and in my own life about take and receive. And when I've done all the different work about inner female for men and women, that is our key to receiving. Is the inner female, Mother Earth energy. Abundance is very feminine. The ability to receive abundance is a feminine energy. It's a feminine in nature. It's what the earth is trying to show us. The earth is trying to tell us, as whacked out as we think it is, in our judgment of going green and all that, which we do need to take care of our planet, she's going to, I'll shake you guys off like fleas. Don't worry about me. And to recognize how abundant we, all that is, still are. How much resources and wonder there still are on our planet. So that means that there's plenty of abundance for you and me to receive in all this and to pass it on. Scott and I have always talked about the Native American stuff, but the 7 generations. And there's a lot of different cultures that have the same philosophy, that it's all about the 7 generations. This is what we're passing on. This is the most important thing to remember as we remember these words, pass it on. So that when we remember, the most important thing will be my very, very, very last line. Just live love and give love, and oh yeah, pass it on. I'm talking awesome. Thank you.
Takes a spark to get the fire going, and soon all those around can warm up with its glowing. That's how it is with God's love. Once you've experienced it, you spread this love to everyone. You want to pass it on. Y'all remember now? Oh, okay, well it's new. What a wondrous time is spring, when all the trees are budding. The birds begin to sing, the flowers start their blooming. That's how it is with God's love. Once you've experienced it, you want to sing. It's fresh like spring. You want to pass it on. Wish for you, my friend, this happiness that I found. You can depend on it. It matters not where you're bound. Now shout it on the mountaintop. I want my world to know the spirit of love has come to me. I want to pass it on. I'll shout it on the mountaintop. I want my world to know the spirit of love has come to me. I want to pass it on. The spirit of love has come to me. I want to pass it on.
Y'all remember it? Isn't it beautiful? I love that song.
Bless all